Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This recording is for you today. I am a huge fan of the Enneagram, have been since the time that I was actually introduced by my guru and coach, Granville de Souza. He introduced it as part of leadership training. I did the training, the profile itself. And when I read the report, I was like, get out of here. How did you know that this is me? But I have to tell you, first I thought, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And when I read it about 4 or 5 times, I was like, those are the things that I don't want to know. So just in a nutshell, the Enneagram, it's like Myers-Briggs, it's like the Insights tool. It's a personality analysis assessment tool. The major benefit is just to learn more about yourself, to to know yourself better, to learn how you react under stress or when you are relaxed, to see what is your dominant type. There's 9 types. And to also learn if you're using your skills that you have been given resourcefully or less resourcefully. Maybe just a quick illustration. So if you are, for example, the wise person, which is Enneagram type 5, dominant type 5, as they say, you can choose to be resourceful about it, research, do the work, get your knowledge, share it. If you are maybe less resourceful, you might be very secretive about it. You might not be willing to exchange the information with your colleagues and use it as a kind of a tool to be in charge by having that knowledge but not sharing it. So there's always a resourceful and a less resourceful behavior. Of course, we would like to become more resourceful in anything that we do. I hope we can all agree on that. The premise is that we are born into a type. So if you take this, I believe at the age of 16, you can already take that. And you take that a few years later, the data shouldn't change. The only thing that might change is whether you are resourceful or less resourceful. Over time, you should become more resourceful if you're aware of it. I think that's the one thing. The second thing that's important is what we would like to do with the Enneagram. The aim is actually to unbox yourself. So the aim is not to box yourself into a dominant type. The aim would be to recognize your dominant type, recognize your auxiliary style. They call it a wing. I hope you like that. That's why I'm wearing my butterfly shirt today. No, I'm just kidding. I just love butterflies. And you also learn, your behavior under stress or when you are relaxed. So the idea is actually to be able to unbox yourself, look at areas where maybe you have quite a low score, where you can include more of the other types, the dominant skills of those types. And what I will do is I'm just going to take you through a very high level overview of the Enneagram itself, the different types, and then it will become a bit more clear to you. Okay, I hope you are with me so far and that you are curious and that you would like to know more. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so now you should be seeing what I'm seeing here, and that's the 9 different types. And this is the very high level descriptive labels to describe the different types. So we have from 1 through to 9. I already mentioned we have 9 types. The first type is a perfectionist, reformer, crusader, moralist. Actually, I would like to run through 1 to 9. You can have a look at the screen, But what I would like to run through is the Enneagram types and the contribution that they bring to the world. So for the number 1, they actually bring order. Number 2, typically you would think of a nurse or a nun. Those are people that bring relationships and love into this world. Then number 3, those are typically the competitors of this world, and so that's also their contribution. They bring competition. The 4s, they bring beauty, and that's normally the artists of this world. Think of Frida Kahlo, Vincent van Gogh, even someone like Johnny Depp. So they create actually from the pain and from the emotions, they create their art. Number 5, they actually bring wisdom. That's really, and actually the animal that is used to illustrate the 5 is an owl. The 6, they actually bring security into this world, and the animal that's associated with that is a Saint Bernard. And number 7, I'm an Enneagram type 7. We bring joy to this world. Yeah, and then you have the 8s. They are the leaders. They bring leadership. And number 9, you have peacemakers, and that's like Kofi Annan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can think of a peacemaker. Their biggest value is harmony. And you can really tell that from everything that they are actually doing. Now I would like to share with you, I'm just going to flash that to you. So this is just a few more descriptive words. Actually, you might even recognize or start to think of what your dominant type is by just looking at that. So I'll just take the Enneagram 7 as an example. So charming, charming, upbeat and energetic. Likes to have options. That's really a big thing for me. I will always, otherwise I feel quite boxed in, so to speak. Pleasure oriented. Yes, I'm really always looking for the next thing that will give me joy. And that was actually a big relief for me when I realized that that's really part of my dominant type. I didn't understand why I was always looking for the next moment of joy. Reframes negative experiences, sometimes in my case too quickly. So I really have to sometimes catch up with myself and say, hang on a minute, let's just see what happened here. Eclectic mind. Yeah, kind of big picture. Yeah, I hope this is understandable for you and that you have already somehow gauged one of the items or one of the dominant types. When I learned more about the Enneagram profile and the tool, actually these two graphs really helped me a lot, especially when I started being curious about the people in my life, like my friends and my direct family. I was really curious to understand them better, and it really helped me to understand them based on their dominant type. Just a word of caution here. I have made a big mistake in the past to actually type someone without them having taken the exam or the profile test itself. It was a disastrous situation. It really did a lot of harm to a very close relationship that I had. So I would, if you are starting to get curious, don't let your curiosity get the better of you. Let the person pay the $15 to do the Wagner Enneagram profile test. And it's much better to go from there. And because the thing is also what you will find out once if you are curious enough and want to know more, you'll start to see that you just have a glimpse of someone, especially if you don't know them that well. Maybe it's a colleague at work. Then maybe you see a glimpse of something and you think, oh, he must be a dominant X, Y, or Z. The thing is that there's a lot of values that we have, and based on whether we are relaxed or not, these kind of behaviors might come out, and therefore you might be wrong. So don't try to type someone without them taking the test. That's my top tip of today. So we talk about triads. There is a lot more to say about the inside here as well, but I will not go into that today. But it's we can start with the instinctive triad. Triad. Their main center is the gut or the physical center. It's really about how am I, and a lot to do with self-preservation. It's the instinctive triad. So then you have the feeling triad and the thinking triad. So you have the three dominant centers, right? So for the feeling triad, the main concern is who am I with? And a lot of importance on the image, their image, and their social relationships. Yeah, so that's where their emphasis is. And then on the last triad, the triad that I fall in is called the thinking triad. So the head triad. So I live a lot in my head. It's really important for me to deliberately find ways to sink into my body, into the other two centers. Our main concern is where am I? It's about direction, meaning, and purpose. And believe me, if for those of you who know me well, you will know that that is really who I am. It's always about what is the meaning and the purpose behind something that I tackle. Even today, making this this clip for you. And I'm just going to sink into, this is the last graph that I found very interesting. And that is, I hope you can see it well. We'll start again with the instinct triad. So at the core here at number 9, it's about anger that went to sleep and passive aggressiveness. Honestly, this is a little bit of a next layer. And perhaps in your first, when you start to analyze yourself, even it might just give you some direction to understand yourself better. But you might even question it to start off with. It's not that clear to start off with. But once you start to, even if you just look at the people closest to you, it will really help you to understand them. I have actually personally worked with a lot of 9s, dominant type 9s. I say it with a lot of respect. But once you understand that there's quite a lot of passive aggressiveness, and if you take into consideration they are the peacemakers and harmony is really important for them, a lot of things become much clearer. And as a leader, you actually have to really think, how do you approach your team members that have maybe a dominant type 9, etc. That would be valid for each type. I'm just going to the left first. So for the 8, it's externalized anger. Anger is easily available. So maybe just on the topic again of resourceful and less resourceful. So a less resourceful 8, you might see them really lose their cool, bang on the table, or have shouting matches with people or even team members. If it's a resourceful type 8, they will actually have control over the emotions. They will have better control over those emotions, but they will use their anger for good purpose. So they will get angry when it's required. That will help people to really pay attention and to listen to what they have to say. Directly to the right, the number 1s, they call it, basically it's internalized anger, and they actually use anger for a righteous cause. I don't know if you've met or can think of someone in this scenario, but I can actually, and I have actually also worked with dominant type 1s, and it's actually incredible to see it. So instead of making it about themselves, they will rather actually put it on the environment, and they will, in other words, they will actually perhaps try to demonstrate that it's not for themselves, but for the team, not or for a social cause. It's really interesting if you recognize the dominant type 1s. If we go to the next triad, we start again with the core. So this is the big thing for them is shame. So at the core, feelings are suspended. So this is the competitors, and I can just, again, like I have really come across quite a few different dominant types in my life and in my working life and coaching life. And it's really, really, you can really feel this. So even though this is the heart triad, at the dominant type 3, it's really, you will really feel this sense of detachment from the person. So it's kind of like I would almost, yeah, it's maybe to do with this shame, the element of shame, not wanting to actually show their weakness by showing their feelings. Actually, wow, I'm actually quite surprised by my own little revelation here. That I realized it right now. I've gone through this so many times. It's the first time I actually realized this gem. If I go to the twos, I have quite a few dominant type twos in my life as well. It's really about externalized feelings. So it's easier for them to take on others' feelings, and you can really in relationships, it's really quite important. If you do know that the person is a dominant type 2, it's really helpful because they will not really tell you what they need. It's for them, it's a much easier to take on someone else's feelings. And it's it's a challenge for them to actually communicate their own feelings. On the other hand, for the dominant type 4s, they internalize feelings. So the dramatization of feelings. Now, with the type 4, that's actually quite interesting. So if you do know a type 4, the way to really tell that you are dealing with the type 4 is a certain sense of uniqueness. They can never really be understood. That's at least what they are portraying to you. And if you have dealt with a dominant type 4, I'm sure that this person will come to mind when I mention this. And it's really, yeah, it's quite interesting. So it's really well worth, if you, for example, know that a friend or a close relationship is, you have someone with a dominant type 4, it's really helpful to know that it's just not, it's just a trait. The trait is, I'm unique. Even if you try, you're not really going to understand me. And I actually, I'm just unique. Let's move on to the last triad. So the main overriding factor for us is anxiety in the head triad. At the core, fear is projected onto the environment. You will not believe me, but actually through observation at Enneagram workshops, you will actually see that the 6, dominant type 6, are normally quite aware of and close to the fire exit, as well as the fire extinguisher. Yes, if you don't believe me, I think you might have to wait a little bit, but next time you see someone that's really concerned about the environment and safety, that might be just their dominant type. But don't try to type them. Heed my warning. Let's go to 5 first. So basically on 5, it's internalized fear, and it's afraid to feel fear. And for me personally, as an Enneagram type 7, actually it's externalized fear, and its fear is diffused into pleasant options. So a good saying for me would be, even if I know I'm going to die, I'm going to do that with some laughter. I will lighten the burden. Let me just stop sharing and just come back for a minute. I really hope that you are enjoying it so far. What I would like to show you is a typical analysis that I would send you if you've done your Enneagram profile, and how it will look like. That will give you a very good idea of yourself. Yeah. So this is not the right one. Hold on. Here is the Enneagram type 7. It will just summarize for you a little bit on a high level who you are. Then it will highlight your areas of strengths and areas of development. Here you might already start to evaluate which are you in full agreement with and which you're not really in agreement with. Let me have a look here. Areas of strength. For example, imaginative and creative is an opportunity for me. I can be more resourceful on that side. So I would really say, if I have to rate myself, that's really still an opportunity for me. The curiosity is definitely there, but sometimes if I feel anxious, it goes more into the direction of fear or anxiousness. The rest of it is really quite, I would really say I really feel quite aligned with that. On the areas for development, this being impulsive is definitely a learning area for me. And I mean, again, like just imagine for me, when I did the original training, I was really fascinated to see this on paper, because I had this pattern, but I kind of didn't really put a name to it. Okay. Unfocused, again, something, so it would be rather an opportunity than a weakness, right? So to actually realize that sometimes it becomes hard to focus, how, and for me, for example, I had to learn mindfulness to learn how to be able to focus, especially if I have a task that's longer than an hour. Yes, it's hard. The rebelliousness. I will not go through every item, but yeah, it's, again, it's such a opportunity to learn about oneself. That natural sense of rebelliousness, it's something maybe you even, for myself, sometimes I feel like I'm in denial about some aspects of my life, and this really helps to bring this to the forefront so that you can actually pay attention. You can obviously decide to ignore it as well, but if you are with a growth mindset and you really want to change and you want to make changes to become the best version of yourself, then obviously you're going to pay attention to this. Maladaptive thinking, they cover a little bit of this. For example, more is better. So then you can turn it into adaptive behavior. Yeah. Oh, they actually have, sorry, the maladaptive thinking and behaviors, right? Life played on fast forward. So just press pause, right? Or press stop. And then they turn that around. The adventure, the 7 is an adventurer. Adventurers are energetic, lively, and optimistic. They want to contribute to the world, which is really honestly what we want to do, what I want to do, how to get along with me, what I'd like about being a 7, what's hard about being a 7, 7s as children. This is in context. So sometimes even for myself and for my clients, they didn't particularly resonate with it. It's just an idea. And then practices that help you as a 7, adaptive positive thinking, and then your own debrief, what you can appreciate about yourself, what suggestions can you offer. And then here you can also look more into what is your kind of style, how do you speak, how's your body language, what could be some of your blind spots, what are you not comfortable about. I'm just going to stop sharing here. As you can tell, I could probably do an hour session, and I'm so enjoying this. I really hope you're enjoying this as well. What I would like to share with you, because I would like to keep it at about half an hour, the conclusion, so that it's not too long. The aim really on a personal level is to discover who you are. This helped me a lot. Why you do things you do, to discover patterns. Types you can include more or less of. Choose to be more resourceful, because it will point out to you in which areas you are not resourceful. how to understand your loved ones, and significant relationships. It has proved invaluable to me to be able to understand my friends and my loved ones better through the lens of the Enneagram. They call it the lens. In a team environment, I think I have mentioned this as part of the presentation today, or the clip that I'm preparing for you today. In teams, it's invaluable because even if you just have a very high level view, as per the introduction that I gave, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to actually understand better the behavior of a competitor versus the behavior of a leader. This is the behavior of the person that's actually really values wisdom. And on that part, you can also learn more about the person's body language, the dominant, how do they speak, what is comfortable for them, how they would like to be addressed when it's an argument. So, yeah, so the Enneagram has really proven to me to be absolutely invaluable. I can highly recommend it. It doesn't matter who you are, in what area of your life, or what stage of your career you are, whether you're a coach, whether you're a salesperson, whether you are just interested for your own, personal growth. This is really applicable across the board. I think the only thing that's really important for me is that you want to know more about yourself, and that you would like to grow and would like to become a better version of yourself. So if this is for you and you find this interesting, please feel free to contact me. You can use my email address. I'm posting this on LinkedIn, or this clip will be available upon request, to be honest. I will just post a little clip and then I will distribute this on request. My email address is there. There's an opportunity to book an appointment with me. As you can tell, it really gives me a lot of joy and energy working with the Enneagram. I wanted to show you my tattoo now, but I will rather not because I have tried this before, and because it's on the inside of my arm, it's hard to show this on the video. I learned so much about the Enneagram that I included it in my recipe for change. So for me, it's part of how I make changes, is really becoming aware of who I am. And the lens of the Enneagram has proven to be a very valuable tool for me. I hope you enjoyed this clip. Feel free to contact me. I hope to touch base with you soon. Bye-bye.